right, welcome in to another episode of Friends from Work. This is a podcast about all things in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it's hosted by me, Kyle Sconowill, and my longtime friend from work, Robbie Earl. As we sit here today, I just yesterday got back from my epic Disney World trip, and you are tomorrow leaving for your epic New Zealand trip.
Yeah, I know. We haven't talked since the night of Agatha ending.
Oh, I know. I missed you.
Crazy. I know it's felt quiet.
I went to Atlanta for a golf trip, which immediately led into watching the Falcons beat the Cowboys last Sunday, which was awesome. Then nice. I rushed back to Nashville, where my dad helped me install a new air conditioner for this studio. So I finally have it's silent air conditioning. It's on right now.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yep. Took a lot of work. And then on Wednesday of last week, we all went to Disney World, which I want to say was awesome. And thank you to everyone who helped plan it, because I got so much feedback from people giving me tips and tricks and all that. It was amazing. I learned a lot. There's probably some things I would do a little bit differently next time. But my daughter in general was a trooper, had an amazing day, super special, perfect weather. And then I got home yesterday. So it's been great. I'm excited
Can I ask
for
you a question?
Yeah, please.
I saw some of the photos. Obviously, this trip was largely about Violet, and y'all got to do so many awesome like Disney things. From your perspective, like not wearing dad hat, but just wearing Kyle the fan hat, was there like what was your highlight of the trip?
Well, I've done this trip before with just adults, which is a totally different experience. I think that the Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind roller coaster there is a top roller coaster in my life. It's the best ride there. I didn't get a chance to do it this time because, again, 3-year-old, not going to work. But I'll tell you what, man, it's hard to remove the dad hat just because there were a couple of from her that made the $1,000 worth it. Like there were literally looks and gasps that were like, oh, that's why people pay money to just get that reaction from their daughter.
Did y'all start at Magic Kingdom and kind of have that whole walk up, let her see the castle moment?
No, so real crazy. We had a park hopper, so we quick ran in to Animal Kingdom because it opens first and did the safari.
Oh,
so she saw the animals. She loved it. We jumped over to Epcot where she got to meet Anna and Elsa, which is probably her highlight. I could send videos if you need to see them. And then she did
You should send those to our friends.
I sent a few on our social media, just a couple, to say thank you. But yeah, I have so many, obviously. Then she did the Frozen ride while me and my father and my brother did Soarin' in Epcot. Then at like 2:00, we went over to Magic Kingdom to catch the parade. So she saw the princesses go through the parade.
Yeah.
And they were actually filming a holiday special with, and you would know his name, the actor who does like the famous dance from the 90s. Oh my gosh, why am I blanking his name? He's a black dude.
Carlton from
yes.
Yeah.
He was filming a holiday special, so we might be on it. Who knows? On Main Street.
Wow, that's really fun.
And then we did the Magic Kingdom stuff. I had never seen the light show at the end of the night, and it was totally undersold to me. Like I thought it's a cool thing. I didn't realize it's like incredible. They light up the castle and they can change it with projection to look like all different things. And there's a literal Tinkerbell that zip lines over you and she's lit up. So it just looks like the outline of Tinkerbell. It's unbelievable.
Is that where they have like the Jiminy Cricket voice? I know they have like multiple voices.
There's a narrator in between.
Because I remember there was a moment where I was there as an adult. I mean, as a young adult, but I think I was like 24 or something. And I was like, I'm feeling this.
Yeah, it works. It works.
Experience. Like, and I didn't even have a child to be looking at like in that way. It was just for me.
No, I mean, there are still amazingly fun parts for us too. You know, Actually, this is kind of weird. I didn't actually watch that fireworks show with Violet. She was separated from me with the girls, and I was with my nephew and my dad and my brother, and we couldn't get back together because there were so many thousands of people. So we watched that part separately. I think she thought the fireworks were a little too loud, but I thought it was amazing. So, but yeah, she hung in there. It was amazing. So it's obviously a long day because it's hot and you get up early, and then for them, it's way past their bedtime. So breakdowns are possible, and we didn't have any. Which
that
is awesome.
I feel like that says a lot about Violet and I guess by extension you all.
Oh,
congrats.
Thank you. So give me a quick little 30 seconds about what are you most excited for in New Zealand? If you had to say.
Well, this has just been something that Candace and I it's been at the top of our list since we were dating. There are a couple of things like that, and we've crossed off a good number of them at this point. But this is one that like we always, I think, saw as like a 10th anniversary thing. And so we are like finally dedicating the full 2 weeks, which is what I like. That seems so long to me for like, I don't think that I've taken a trip that long since probably I was touring. But it is, I think I keep hearing it's like such a long flight that it's not really worth doing anything less than that. So we're getting to see like both islands, getting to go to Hobbiton, obviously, getting to go to Weta Workshop, which I'm really excited about. The folks that I think became famous for their work on the Lord of the Rings stuff, but they have since done a ton of like props and various, like I think there's some character design elements there as well. So we're getting to see like that kind of stuff, but I think most of it is just like hiking, and we're getting a van and driving around the South Island. And it's nice because most of the nerdy things that we're doing are only nerdy for me. Like they don't have to be nerdy. So it's like we're going on these hikes and going to visit places that for me, I will immediately recognize as like, oh yeah, this is where the Fellowship like crests the hill.
But to other people, it's just pretty.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, it's like Candace doesn't have to just sit there and watch me like tick off a bunch of like mundane, it's like if we went to New York and I was like, okay, now we're going to go everywhere that Tobey Maguire ever web swings.
Which is what I would do.
Which I say that Candace was the one that actually had us do that kind of trip last time we were both in New York, but for Seinfeld. So those can also be fun. We did go to you
can find the actual coffee shop, right? At least the exterior.
Yeah, it's like I think that they have like an exterior. And then I think that there are other areas that kind of like approximate more of like what the interior would have been. But you can we got a photo of her in front of the famous sign. She's a big Larry David fan who we're actually going to see next month whenever we get back from New Zealand. He's coming to Austin.
In Austin. Wow.
Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Has stand-up?
I think it's kind of like an evening chat thing.
Okay. I didn't know if he was doing stand-up.
But I think it's just any excuse to hear him in person. But there's like a place in Austin that does a lot of kind of conversations like that.
Candace and I have that in common. And just in general, I'm a big Seinfeld fan, which we've probably never talked about on this show. Almost other than me saying, I'm out there, Jerry, and I'm loving every second of it. I think I've said that before. Other than that, that's about it.
Do you watch Curb Your Enthusiasm?
I have. I like it. I don't like religiously watch it,
sure,
but I've seen some stuff, yeah. And obviously, like some of the skits are basically like viral online that you can catch.
Yeah, yeah. It is like we're at the point in the show where it feels the most like Seinfeld it's ever felt to me, in part because you get to a phase where Larry's doing a lot more dating. And I realized that he really is just writing these episodes as though like he's, Jerry, and everyone's kind of got their thing. And it does feel, it's been like nostalgic and nice. And also I've just been laughing.
I just felt
so hard.
The air conditioning hit my back and I didn't hear a single thing. I can't hear it.
Wow.
I just felt some wind. Wow.
Wow. Look at that.
All these years. Okay. Today is going to be something we haven't done in a long time, if ever. I will say it's going to work a little bit better if you're watching this on YouTube or on Spotify than just listening. But per usual, you and I take a week off and 10 trillion things happen, which is that there have been just an onslaught. There's been an onslaught of trailers, not just in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but other things that you and I are invested in. I know you got to see Gladiator 2 already.
Yes.
So we obviously don't have time to get into all this stuff. I've brought up Silo and Severance and Gladiator. So we'll have time to do that now exclusively on Friends from Work Plus anytime we do screensaver stuff. But there are a few things I want to particularly highlight here as a look forward and get your immediate reaction to. And so I actually put the trailers together for you right now.
Wow.
So we can watch these trailers, live react, and then afterwards maybe just give a sentence or two because there's a lot of them. So we're not going to go through, crazy intense discussion about it. But I think let's go chronologically first in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Then I'll play a non-MCU trailer or two afterward, okay? So up first actually is, and let's see if this works, season 3 of What If?
Oh, yeah.
Let's begin. Up for an adventure?
Always.
That's actually Shang-Chi's voice, right? I think.
Yeah, I think so.
To understand,
Lou?
you must learn.
Man, it is fun seeing.
What exactly are you proposing?
It's showtime.
All these Phase 4, Phase 5
Howard,
folks.
are you sure you can fly this?
Are you kidding? I'm a duck. I was born to fly. Strap in.
Darcy again.
Yeah.
Oh, move over.
She's been like a mainstay at this point.
Oh,
Dormammu.
the Dormammu, yeah.
If we all go down,
Zeus,
the world will be left defenseless.
Okay, I'm going to talk about that one in a second.
yeah.
This
Remind
is
me.
the shot we have. We may not get another one. Let's finish it.
Oh, we're good to go.
I love that they get so many of the actual actors.
Yeah.
Assemble.
That's clearly Anthony Mackie.
Yeah, yeah. And I love the like mech thing.
Hey, he says Avenger Assemble. Must be called Avenger.
Light them up now.
I love trailer music. Have I ever told you that?
Yeah.
And then the dope reveal here at the end.
This is where your story ends.
What? The Watcher's evil? Question mark?
Man.
With some mysteries, the only answer.
I kind of like that they're setting up this is the end of
What
it,
if?
right? Like,
Yeah.
there's an end date to this, not forever.
Yeah, yeah.
This right here. This is the highlight.
Maybe it's time that we called in some help.
Oh, yeah.
Makes so much sense. So,
Yeah.
am I reading that correctly that this is the final What If season? And if that's the case, is it setting up the fact that we're about to end the multiverse saga, right? Like they're not going to do these forever?
Oh,
or is
I
it
mean,
just saying for this year?
I do think it's the end of the series.
It is. Okay.
And I do wonder if, because it's coming out, I mean, that's actually really soon, which I guess makes sense if we're watching it chronologically. But I guess maybe it will preview something or link to something that we'll get more of down the line in like Fantastic Four. But yeah, man, that it's a good trailer.
The multiverse saga has been really fun for me, but my brain likes the idea of there being an end date. Like all this stuff we're doing, exploring these other Spider-Man and all the what if stories and all this stuff that we can do right now, I think only gets better if it officially closes off. That like in 3 years, we are back to one thing that you're following, one universe. And so that kind of gets me excited that it feels like that's what that's ramping up toward. I also, as I mentioned, am just excited that they got so many of the voice actors back. I say this all the time. I know money talks, but it also feels like there's something besides money that these people want to be involved. And perhaps the highlight of that for me is Oscar Isaac is back, which is really what?
Yeah. Well, okay.
That's actually him.
Okay, that's what I thought. It sounds like him.
It's actually him, and that's really encouraging to me because if there was one person that I could see being hesitant, that I really don't want to be hesitant because I loved Moon Knight, me more than the average human being. I love that he's not bailing. There's not ill will there. So
man,
give me more Moon. Oh, I can't say that. Give me more Moon Knight. Give me more Moon
No,
Knight.
I mean, I do, and this is something where, like, I'm going to be so curious after Born Again, and we'll talk about that bit in a bit. But if we do start to actually carve out space in the MCU for more ground level things, like, I would really love to see Moon Knight integrated into that same zone. Please. And so I like the fact that Oscar Isaac is even still interested in popping in for something like this does make me happy. And I'm also with you in that I just like that we have like a trilogy structure for the show as a whole. Like, I think it feels like something like the What If comics are kind of just an open-ended thing because they're totally it's and it's like an anthology there. Like, there's not really an overarching plot like there has been with The Watcher and with Captain Carter. So I do feel like I think it'll be nice, and it'll be interesting to see if it actually does have implications beyond just the show.
Yeah. I maybe missed it, but did they say at the end of that if they're doing all episodes at once again, or is it one a day on December 22 like they did last year? Which was kind of nice, actually. Remember that?
Yeah.
I kind of liked it.
I did too. It seems like they're doing it all at once from the trailer.
I think the one a day thing was fun over Christmas. All right, December 22. Up next in the MCU, we got a brand new look at a much more extended trailer for Captain America Brave New World. Here we go. Stop me if you need me to stop.
You asked for me. Here I am.
I
do like the different Marvel Studios font.
Is there
this font looks incredible. I thought that from like all these little cutscenes.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, Thaddeus Ross.
By the way, I'm going to pause really quick. This trailer makes it seem more like a Winter Soldier inspired flashback or some kind of like mind control. Whereas the first trailer, it looked like Isaiah Bradley was just trying to kill the president. Here, my read is that now he's not under his own control. Is that your read?
I think that's right. And that was my assumption based on the first trailer. But I feel like it makes it clear now.
This line he's about to say leans into that too. Like maybe the leader is doing something or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever this is, Cap, be careful.
That.
Yeah.
I like that.
What do we know?
There were 5 shooters. This was a coordinated terrorist attack, sir.
I was a wartime general. Now I'm a wartime president.
Your inner circle's
Okay,
been
pause real quick.
compromised. Let me fix it.
What grave are they at? What is your...
I don't know.
Because they're standing at a grave, right? Ross and Sam.
I don't know. I thought you were having me pause because of Tiamat again, which we get a better look at here in a second. I don't know. Listeners, what grave was that?
I'm trying to think who that could be.
Watch yourself. You're not Steve Rogers.
You're right. I'm not.
Dude, I love the helmet.
It almost Ant-Man-esque.
Wait for it.
It's like Ant-Man meets Stormtrooper.
We're on the brink of war.
There in the background. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, the split screen is cool.
Nothing about this feels right.
Captain America. You ever ask yourself, who's playing who?
Yeah, I mean the shield.
Are you all about the wings and shield combo?
Yeah,
Someone's
I'm
been
into
pulling
it.
the strings on everything.
Because that's the only thing that makes him unique. He doesn't have serum.
I don't want a variable out there that I can't
There,
control.
that music and that writing, that font.
Yeah.
Look at that, the hand.
Caught without his wings.
You like to play dress up and blindly execute the state's orders.
Don't say I didn't warn you.
What if this is a trap? You don't even know what this is.
Yeah. And now, an actual Red Hulk shot.
You want me? Come and get me!
Comic book shot right here.
Yep.
What do you know about Red Hulk?
I mean, I think it's similar to. I mean, it's Ross, in the comics, and in the comics,
He recreated the serum again.
It was a mystery thing for the longest time who it actually was. Like the Red Hulk shows up and they kind of dangle it out as like, who is this person? And I forget. I need to reread that. I forget like the actual origin story, but
apparently he actually is hot, like to the touch, and that's what that little sparkle of him touching the shield, like he's hot to the touch on metal, is supposed to be like sparks almost.
Oh, that's
I didn't
cool.
know that. I saw that
That's
online.
Cool. I mean, I'm really curious here how he winds up with the formula, because I mean, I don't think that they're going to retcon it and have him have taken the formula before. So I'm wondering, like, is it something here where he's under, like, because he feels as though he's threatened and he's helpless, that he affirmatively does something that leads him to hulking out, so that he's kind of not reliant on superheroes to save him? Or is it something where either way, I'm sure the leader is manipulating him, but
the
I
leader
wonder if
has been experimenting on him, maybe.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, I'm trying to remember. I don't think my Incredible Hulk is Rusty, but does he?
That's what
he
she
never
said.
meets the leader in that movie, right?
I don't think so. Mine is Rusty as well.
Yeah,
but
I
he
do
has
think-
the leader has Hulk knowledge, right? Like he's
and
in
he
that
does-
territory a lot.
And he's the one that turns Blonsky into Abomination ultimately.
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe
I wonder.
this is maybe post all that somehow he was experimenting on Ross. Maybe, I guess, what would they post Civil War?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. I mean,
with the
or
idea that
maybe
maybe he'd
even,
become president and then he could like spring this Hulk or something once he was in.
yeah. I mean, I do. Maybe it was something that happened like after Ross's heart attack or something. But
yeah,
I do think
right in the middle of his backswing.
Yeah, I do think it'll be interesting to see what the leader's like post Incredible Hulk journey has been generally, because there are ways, like I look back on like Falcon Winter Soldier, which this show seems to really be picking up threads from. Like I remember at the time we were maybe talking about, or no, maybe that was She-Hulk when we were talking about the leader being involved. But I think even in Falcon Winter Soldier, there were some questions about, like, once we knew they were going to Madripoor, our thought was like, who is it that's making the new super soldier serum and all that stuff? And then ultimately it's kind of just like this guy, and then he dies that episode, and then it's sort of, there's nothing beyond that. But it would be cool if they could kind of retroactively involve the leader in all of that stuff, in part just because, like, we've talked about this, like at a certain point, I'm kind of over like the threat of a new super soldier. Like it's like
Right.
we've seen it kind of pop up in different ways now. And so I would like if they unified that to some degree.
Yep. Agreed. In closing on that one, all I'll say is I was not overly excited about that film. Obviously, I'm excited about all MCU films, but when I ranked them, I would say a few months ago, I probably had it towards the bottom of the projects that got me most amped. I think these trailers have done a really good job at getting me very invested. I'm now really excited about it. However, all I've really heard online is negative stuff. Like I've heard bad things about reshoots and I have no idea if any of that's true. So I'm excited now. I hope it's not a Secret Invasion thing because I loved Secret Invasion from the trailer and I loved the first 2 episodes of Secret Invasion. So hopefully it's not that. But I was here. I'm now up here and I'm hoping it's not somewhere down here based on some of the things I'm reading.
Yeah. I mean, I will say like the visuals look pretty great. Like if those are representative, like it looks like a fun movie to watch from that.
And in general, I think you and I are always on team. We prefer things to be tied in more than not. So like, even though Falcon and Winter Soldier is one of my least favorite Disney Plus projects in the MCU, I think I'll like this more. Just the fact that it is leaning into it and drawing off it like that, it makes it cooler retroactively. And I'm always more team connectivity than scrapping and starting over.
Yeah. And especially in that show where I actually think you could have gotten away with it because of where the characters end and how similar it is to where we leave them at the end of Endgame. So I love that they're actually like intentionally following Isaiah and Joaquin.
Yep.
And so...
All right, 2 more MCU projects going chronologically. Up next, we have a quick, short look at Daredevil Born Again.
It's been some time, hasn't it? You've come up in
the
world.
bearded
I can say the
Daredevil.
same about you. I wonder if your darker half would agree. Exactly what kind of a lawyer are you?
Wait.
A really good one.
Man.
I
thought that they recasted Vanessa. Is that the new Vanessa actress? It looked like the original one.
I think it's the same person. You can fact check me on that. I think it's the original actress.
It does look like her in that shot.
There's a longer look at that is leaked. That's a short look, but yeah, I think you're getting John Bernthal as Punisher. You're getting the same guy. You got one shot playing freaking dart thrower. What's his name? Why am I Bullseye?
Oh, Bullseye. Yeah.
Same Bullseye you got a shot of. I think it's the same Vanessa. It's obviously the same Foggy and Karen now. And then the interesting inclusion of Kamala's father is just enough to tie that together. They're both in the New Jersey, New York area. Obviously, this is probably my most excited project. If Fantastic Four maybe or this one are my most anticipated projects.
Yeah, I call out the bearded Daredevil because that's there's been a lot of talk about this show pulling from the Chip Zdarsky Daredevil run that finished about a year ago. And part of that is that is one of the series that really explores Fisk as mayor and kind of how that evolves their relationship. But just visually, it's kind of known for having the Daredevil with the red beard. And so I love seeing like that little touch. But they're also pulling from the Charles Soule run, who introduced the Daredevil or like Mayor Fisk element. And he also introduces the Muse villain that you saw for a second, like the White Mask, who I think is really well rendered there. Like it's such a creepy villain in the comics, and
he's
it
like
looks
crying almost or something.
Yeah, it's like really, it's like one of the more I thought memorable additions to the whole Daredevil canon of the last couple decades. So I really liked. I love seeing that there, and I love how creepy it is, and it's just different for a Daredevil villain. Like I feel like we've gotten so many kind of like ground level, like realistic type Daredevil villains where they're not really wearing costumes necessarily. Like they're kind of trying to make it more of just a drama and a little like less sci-fi and superhero-y. But I feel like just that plus like the tie-in to Miss Marvel makes me feel like they're keeping that DNA, but like fully integrating it into the tone of the MCU as well.
If you are a fan of the original series on Netflix, you'll know that it's kind of interesting to have a new Daredevil show because the first 3 seasons are pretty much a perfect arc. And without spoiling much, by the end of season 3, I feel like you've already leaned so much into and explored the Fisk and Daredevil thing to absolute perfection to where I don't know where you could go with that. Like getting him out of jail again. If you remember at the end of the first season, he puts him in jail. It seems like it doesn't matter if he's in jail. It was perfect. So I've always kind of wondered where could they go. I do think that having someone like Muse, Bullseye being around, but really this idea of Fisk being mayor, I said Misk, of Fisk being mayor is what's really gotten me intrigued because I feel like that adds a new element that maybe you could not replay the hits, I guess. I guess I'm trying to say is like season 3 of Daredevil is so perfect in the head-to-head nature without them ever really having to go head-to-head. And it's like this Fisk is manipulating everything kind of thing. So how can you make that different? You can't really do it better. How can you do something different? I do think the mayor element adds a little intrigue there.
Yeah, it does. Like, it also goes back to I guess the first season, maybe a little bit of season 3, but whenever you see Fisk like step out of the shadows and become kind of this celebrity and Ben Urich is about to write the expose and then has to delete all of it. That was this element of like, he's just out in the open. Like there's no, like he's just doing it and there's nothing I can do about it because everything he's doing is facially legal.
Right.
And so I do think that they're kind of returning to that and leveling it up here. But I'm curious what the vibe is like that scene where they're sitting at like a diner. Like, I wonder, is that them trying to make some kind of deal or Fisk trying to make some kind of deal with Matt?
Well, and if I remember right, it's not until like the very end of season 3 that Fisk officially puts his finger on Matt Murdock is Daredevil, right? Like he's still in the dark until about halfway through that season, if I remember right.
I think
he
so.
starts doing research on him.
Yeah, in season 2.
So that's a new element, is my point.
Yeah.
That they can just be sitting in a diner and Fisk can be just talking about Daredevil like outwardly. Like, I know who you are. That'll be kind of unique to see how that changes.
Yeah. And that is one thing about like the Born Again comic. I mean, the whole thing is kicked off by Fisk learning who he is and then like systematically tearing his life apart, which they kind of did already in season 3 to an extent. So yeah, I think that they're bringing in the elements from that they haven't fully explored. But man, I just like everything that you rattled off that we're getting there makes me excited. Like I don't know if like, I think what's going to be weird is like the Daredevil season that we like the least is the one that has the most going on in terms of characters and plot lines. There's a little part of me that gets nervous seeing just the sheer number of characters that are involved here. But I'm wondering if they're just taking a totally different approach. Like if this is going to be something like some kind of cross between Daredevil and She-Hulk and that we have a little bit more of the procedural, like is Matt meeting with Kamala's dad because
yes,
like,
I think,
you know what I mean? Like in the same kind of way that Jen was always meeting with like a new cameo to take on their case. I don't know. I mean,
I think more for me, season 2 is just the ninja and the mystical element that pulls me away more than the characters. So as long as we kind of stay away from that and a giant hole in New York, I'm okay.
Gotta have the giant hole. Gotta have it.
All right. One more MCU project now coming up. That's in March. This one's going to be, I think, in May. Here we go. We got a long look. This is probably the most in-depth look we had at a new MCU project. Here's Thunderbolts.
Oh, America's so big. You ever drive through Oklahoma?
He's funny to me.
You got a convoy approaching fast. Step on it.
This is so good. Everything about this is so good. The way it looks, I've talked about, I love so much. The humor, perfect.
Okay, a bit faster, please.
But Yelena still senses the gravity of the moment, actually.
Yeah.
Engaging defensive measures.
Oh, throwback.
Oh my god.
Wait, that's not smart.
Oh my god.
Move the shield!
She's like embarrassed as if he is her dad. But this reveal is so dope, bro. For Bucky?
Yep. And it.
I have chills.
Yeah, man. I love this line.
It's a Winter Soldier.
That guy is so cool.
That guy's so cool.
But how he actually, we didn't see him actually do this in the first trailer, stopping this tank.
Right.
It's dope with his arm.
That's what I talk about!
That's what I talk about.
That's not good.
I love that version of Bucky.
Think of all.
What, the long hair?
Well, yeah, I mean visually, but also just the like. I don't know. It's not. We've talked about this. Like it's a version of him that once he kind of snaps out of Winter Soldier mode, in a way we lose a little bit of what makes the character so cool, because it's like in Winter Soldier, the movie, he's just terrifying, and obviously he's kind of like a hero now, so you're not going to be able to pull that off in quite the same way. But this is the closest they've gotten since then to feeling like, I mean, you know, like we have those scenes in Civil War that are so cool, but
yeah,
even
it's
like
a
the
unique
direct
place for
callback.
him, because at the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier, he's clearly like worked through all of that stuff. He's going through his checklist. He's clearly like gone through therapy. And so, yeah, to have him back in the game is kind of strange, but you're right. This is the cool way to do it still. And maybe, like I said, he's actually enforcing justice here.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I do like him being like, I don't know what this means, this shot of him like coming up in Avengers Tower, but I really like his presence on the team because he's the only one that has actually like worked with the Avengers, like the original Avengers, you know, in Infinity War, and then obviously in Civil War. So it's like I like the connective tissue there, both from a story perspective, but also like no one else. Like I think he could wind up being the conscience of the team while also still kind of maintaining this vibe. So I think it'll be an interesting way to explore his like his Steve roots also.
Here we go.
Think of all the monumental fights that happened exactly here where
Finally,
you're standing.
confirmation that they bought
the place
Avengers.
wasn't cheap, but it's got good optics.
That's a great
Look at
line.
You
Yeah.
are all so adorable.
Eat shit, Valentina. The assignment is... Oh, wait, hang on.
She's carrying a guinea pig.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that for a second.
Assignment is complete.
And that, yeah.
What kind of super serum did you get?
I don't know, regular. Hydra.
Hydra. Oh, fancy.
Per our comment earlier
Who's this
about
old
super.
Santa?
Oh yeah.
Red
Soldier serum.
Guardian.
What?
Everyone here has done bad things. Shadow ops. Contract kills.
And you, former Red Room assassin. God only knows the blood on your hands.
Pretty ludicrous coming from the dime store Captain America.
I'll have you know I was actually the official Captain America, so.
Yeah, for like 2 seconds.
She's good with that stuff, by the way. The like,
Yeah. I also like, we talked about this when the first trailer dropped, but the ghost design here is so cool.
so good. And then this is going to be a huge reveal of this Bob Sentry
Getting
guy.
so tense in here.
Who are you?
I'm Bob.
And Bob. You wanna die?
We're just drifting. And we don't have purpose. You can't escape the past.
Whoa, she's hugging her dad.
So you can either do something about it now,
Oh, there he is.
or live with it forever.
Man,
I like that look from
Well,
Bucky
we'll just
there.
punch and shoot.
We are the Thunderbolts!
Can't call ourselves that.
Thank God.
The Thunderbolts. It's a cool name.
You don't think that's all the asterisk was about, right?
no. I still think that it's going to be revealed to be an Avengers movie. Ultimately, I think it's going to be a Dark Avengers thing. That's my guess. It just wouldn't make enough. It wouldn't make sense for them to, like, if anything, if there was going to be a project where you did something like that, it would have been like Falcon Winter Soldier, where at the very end, it's actually Captain America and the Winter Soldier. And so I think that, here, I think that that's what they're doing. And I wonder if it's either like a reveal at the end of the Thunderbolts movie, or if it's actually a reveal like at the end of Captain America somehow. Because those two have to connect, right? Like they're clearly
similar
operating
and too close.
yeah. And which we haven't gotten in a while. And so I think that's
not just operating in the same universe as if we mean the MCU.
Right.
Operating in the same universe or same plane, as far as it seems like it's taking place at the same time, could easily be happening in the same like northeast quadrant of a lot of this.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that in some ways,
and Daredevil too, that's the crazy thing.
Yeah. Well, and if Sam is functioning in anything like an official capacity in Brave New World, which, he is, he's in the White House, and then I feel like it would be, I think something's going to happen there that delegitimizes Sam and or like the existing Avengers in people's minds, and allows for the creation of a new team, and kind of opens up whatever, which again, I love that Val was in Falcon Winter Soldier too, because you can kind of see how all of that could connect if they want to connect at all. And that makes me really excited.
Right. Like you may get a Fisk Mayer reference in Thunderbolts, for example. That's possible.
Yeah.
Or does Fisk appoint Norman Osborn as head of something or whatever? We just don't know. We don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
I am stoked on this one. If you want to hear my full breakdown, go find our episode where we talked about the original trailer, but I love it in so many ways. I like the music choices. I love the visual of this one in particular. Like it feels so authentic. They actually went to the Southwest and filmed those car wrecks, and
nice.
I like so much about it. The color grading. We'll see. This one's another highly anticipated film for me. Right there in that range with Fantastic Four.
This is
Daredevil.
This is the trailer that like I can see Captain America, like there's a world where I could see the movie not being as good as the trailer, and that's always possible with any movie. But the more I see from Thunderbolts, the more excited I am, and the more I hear, like it just it doesn't have to be a comparison game, but that's just one where I feel like all the ingredients are right, and I'm even like the cinematography there is it's the cinematographer that David Lowery uses. Daniel Hart is the guy that composes the music for Lowery films, but he did like cinematography for the Ghost Story or A Ghost Story for The Green Knight, which is a movie that I love that you do not love as much.
Yeah, correct.
But I love the way that his films look. And so seeing that and then seeing like the shots we get in the trailer, I think it's just going to be a really fun one.
I love that you stumbled over your words there because it makes me feel better. For some reason, my brain and mouth aren't syncing up today. So thank you for making me feel more included.
I just did that for you.
Okay, quick break. And then I'm going to come back with two other non-MCU trailers that we'll just really quick play and get out of here. We'll be right back after a quick word from these sponsors. Okay, so we've talked about how on Screensaver there are so many projects upcoming that we're excited about. Obviously, we can't get into all those. There will be some version, I think, of coverage or at least a review on social media of projects like Silo, Severance, Gladiator Part 2, a bunch of stuff. But since we had that conversation, 2 new trailers dropped, and I'm going to start with this. There is a Dune spin-off show, a series that is immediately kind of taking over, I think, following The Penguin, right? On the Sunday night slot on HBO. And I know very little about Dune, so this is more me just reacting as a fan, but I am not an expert in Dune lore. I don't know all these people. I've seen the first movie and the second movie one time. Here it is, a new Dune series.
The Sisterhood draws women from many worlds to advance our species and govern the future.
That's a dope shot.
It looks good.
Fragile. The great houses fight for control.
Speaking of the Penguin, Mark Strong,
now
right?
Is the time to secure the throne and protect the Imperium.
This endangers everything. There are secrets we have gone to great lengths to keep.
Yeah, I mean,
The Imperium is a circus.
Seems like it's an
Fear,
even
rumor.
darker version of the
Surrounded by
movies
fighters.
because now that it's on HBO, like it feels like this would be the equivalent of a rated R
If
movie
I
based on
lose
this
control
trailer.
of Arrakis,
yeah.
the great houses would feed me to the worm.
That's
Your
cool.
Majesty, the troubles are far greater than just Arrakis.
Finally getting to see a few other planets? Question mark.
There's a war hidden in plain sight. I'm the only one that can tell you the truth.
What do you want?
To wipe out every trace of the sisters from our worlds. That is why I've been gifted a great power.
What's his great power? Question mark. That he can see who they are.
Yeah.
Consider me a true believer.
We've never seen a force like this. This could destroy the Imperium. We must act.
I see the corruption in your heart. Same way I see the blood trailing your every step.
Yeah, it does look dark.
The reckoning is here.
I run a school for young women. We're not a threat to anyone.
Man.
This is a dope title card reveal.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm excited
No,
to
I
watch
mean-
it, but I don't have. Yeah, go ahead.
It looks like, to me, I feel like they did a great job of capturing like Denis' visual style, not just in Dune, but in like, because there are parts of it that almost feel Arrival-esque in some of these shots. I think it looks great. I think it's really interesting that it's like 10,000 years prior to the
He's not
original.
super involved or anything, right?
I don't
Or
know.
at all. I don't think he's involved in this.
Is he is he like an executive producer?
I don't know. It feels like or looks like he is or would have to be, but I thought I read that he wasn't involved much. That's another thing you can fact check me on. Or
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I'm not seeing that he is, which does separate this some from the Penguin.
yeah,
Yeah, wow.
if you want to get our coverage of that series and or the other Dune movies, they're now on Friends from Work Plus for $8 a month. Screensaver episodes on Friends from Work Plus exclusively. And then the last thing to close out today is, something near and dear to my heart. Greg actually sent this to me yesterday and tipped me off to it. I'm so excited for the, I think, potential conclusion of the Mission Impossible series. And so we finally get a brand new look at the final reckoning. And just, I want you to pay attention. I like same with the Dune trailer. I love the visual style, the cinematography of these Mission Impossible movies. Like they put such an emphasis, not just on the practical effects and the sets, but just the way it looks. Like, look at these shots when it's flashing. And I love how they always work in the music in a different way. Sometimes it's a different version of the theme. Listen to how they'll sneak that main theme in again. Enjoy this. This is, I think, going to be the final Mission Impossible film after all these years. And probably I will go back through all of them again next summer.
Sure. Maybe
on this podcast. We'll see. Here we go. Like all these.
Yeah.
You know, it's just fun, man.
Our lives are not defined by any one action. Our lives are the sum of our choices.
Man.
Everything you were, everything
like that.
Done,
call back to the first one.
Has come to this. When the need for certainty is absolute and the odds are deemed impossible, the mission falls to him.
I love that.
Should he choose to accept?
I have chills.
Every life you tried to save, you gambled millions more. And now the fate of every living soul on Earth is your responsibility.
Oh, I love it so much. Trying to flood the sub that we saw.
That's the pattern, isn't it? You refuse to sacrifice the ones you hold close.
Haley Atwell. You forget that now.
Yeah, man.
You've always been on the right side, brother. I have no regrets.
Let's go.
Neither should you.
The hanging off the plane stuff.
I need you to trust me. One last time.
Man.
Let's go. One thing I want to bring up here, I saw this interesting side video from Rebecca Ferguson giving a very honest answer that I just, you don't hear this kind of transparency very, very often. They were asking her about Elsa Faust and how she's gone. And she was like, I love that character. I love what we did. She was like, just practically, I respect everything they're doing, but those movies take so long that you have so much waiting, is what she said. She's like, since the time they've been filming that, I filmed 2 seasons of Silo, I filmed Dune Part 2, and they're still doing it. They're still working on it.
That is wild.
She was like, so it's not that I have any regrets or don't like anything, but at a certain point she had to take other offers because she can't just block off like 3 years for like a few scenes, basically.
Right.
And it was actually not like, that sounds negative. The video didn't come off as negative. She loves the character and loves the movie, but I think that was a literal explanation as to why she died last movie. Cause they had so much chemistry and that was like my thing.
Man. But that was also a good moment, I thought, in the movie. But I just wish that Michelle Monaghan was still around.
Oh, really? You're a original wife or truther?
Yep. Yeah. I
felt like, because one thing that makes the Mission Impossible series different than the Bond stuff is that they've never really focused on like the sex side of it or like him having a bunch of different women. I feel like they've handled those transitions as perfectly as possible. Like if you remember, he's married and they make that a big thing, I think movie 3 and 4. Yeah. And then obviously they can't make that the storyline every time. So they have to find a way that he can he has obvious chemistry with Rebecca Ferguson, but you have a wife. Yeah. So they do this like really sweet, like passing of the torch basically of like why it's okay because I'm with someone else and I can't. And then now Rebecca Ferguson's dead. So that's the passing of the torch, I think, to it's okay that Haley Atwell's kissing him in this trailer.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
That's true. Which I will say, like, if I'm going to complain about not having Michelle Monaghan, I'm happy to have Haley Atwell.
You get Peggy Carter, so.
There you go.
Yeah. Anyways, lots of fun stuff coming up. Hope this was kind of fun for you. Thanks for listening. We'll be back sometime soon. Robbie, enjoy New Zealand. Who knows what our schedule is going to look like, but man, I can't wait to hear all about when you get back.
Going to come back different.
Changed. I have been changed for good. Thanks for listening.
Maybe there's a world where when I come back, X-Men are in the MCU. Storm. What if? We didn't even mention it, but that's a thing too. So we'll see.
Next time here on Friends from Work.
Had to get it out.